I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Yeah. I think the hot stuff is all ready to go.
The hot stuff?
10
10 seconds. Here we go.
Mad radio. It's like the movie, right?
Yeah.
WMDX 92.7 FM and 1580 AM. Broadcasting from the capital city, Madison. A block away from the Dome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that kind of bothers me a little bit. You know, the Republicans want to come back and try to override a few vetoes by the governor, right?
Yeah, I heard about this.
And I'm thinking...
A bunch of vetoes.
I'm thinking, aren't they on vacation? They never come back for anything. They didn't come back to deal with the elections during COVID.
Right.
But they're going to come back to override vetoes of the governor, which aren't going to take hold because the assembly doesn't have the votes.
Okay.
And it's just a ridiculous thing. I don't know. My head explodes thinking, what performative thing are they trying to do here?
Okay, well, hold that thought. You know, you're getting all riled up here. We're 30 seconds into the show. So hang on a minute.
All right.
Let's get our bearings here.
Okay.
We're at the Short Stack Eatery, 301 West Johnson Street. Having a good time. It's sunny this morning. It's going to be bright and sunny. Beautiful day all day. Let's see. Do we have the weather roulette wheel or the weather balls? Which do we have this morning, Sam? Anything?
You tell me. What would you like to hear?
I like the weather lottery
I'll
balls.
surprise you.
Let's go with the weather lottery balls.
Oh, too late.
He rolled the wheel, so it's the roulette wheel.
We'll go with
the high temperature today is 71. 71 is the high temperature today. Sunshine all day. And then pretty nice tonight. And then tomorrow we're back to showers and thunderstorms. But so enjoy the day today. Yeah. Again, Short Stack Eatery is where we're at. 301 West Johnson Street, the corner of Johnson.
This is really nice.
State.
When you have the light like this, the sunlight.
You know, and they set up all the outdoor tables now.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's power out there. We should try that picnic table maybe next week. What do you think? What would you think about it? You think it's too busy out there? It's crazy. There's
I think
nobody
it's
out
be
there.
A little noisy. You
never
know
noisy?
when a large truck is going to come by, a garbage truck.
That kind of adds to the ambiance.
Or the sidewalk sweeper.
Right.
We're familiar with all of the activity out on State Street now.
Buses.
With the guy with the leaf blower.
Yeah, blowing one leaf down the street, the leaf that he brings with him. Yeah.
I mean, we could chase away some dogs.
We could. There's people out jogging.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous morning. So
it's beautiful from here, though, inside the restaurant.
Yeah, it is.
Just a beautiful, beautiful cafe.
Mm-hmm. And
love this place.
They're making the coffee. They're getting ready to make the flapjacks, all the short stacks. And we're going to have Mike McCabe stopping by a little bit later on in the show from Blue Jean Nation, right?
A little after 7:30.
Okay.
He'll be in here as our guest. We've got so many things to talk about today.
I don't know if Zenon's going to show up, our boy wonder announcer.
That's right.
Well, we never know.
Yep.
So, but he shows up just about every week. All right. So, you ready to get started? You ready to launch into this thing that happened last night? Boy, I never saw. I was watching the news last night. There are a lot of very upset Democrats who were very, very angry about what happened. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Because the Republicans came back and overturned like 9 vetoes or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't that it?
That's
Give us
right.
the story.
Well, that's the case. Yeah. And again, I don't care if they do it symbolically for the election coming up. Fine, okay. We know that you're doing this just for performance sake. Yeah. All right, got it.
Yeah.
You're all bad actors, by the way.
Yeah, political theater was really
bad
low.
actors.
Bad acting.
But they've come back, proving that they could have come back during the COVID pandemic to help out with the election, to fund the polling places the way they should have been funded instead of relying on Zuckerbucks. And they're, big stink about the Zuckerbucks. Well, you could have come back to help, but you didn't. And you didn't give a rat's butt about the election during a pandemic. And then they blamed the pandemic on the Democrats, and it was all just phony stuff, and we over-exaggerated, this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here we are, symbolically overriding the governor's vetoes.
And one of the Democrats, somebody in the assembly there, who just said he'd been there for 30 years, never saw never had a day this bad,
that's right,
this awful, all of his 30 years there. I mean, it was theater, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bad theater.
Really, really disappointing.
Yeah. Okay.
But it just proves that they're lying. They could have come back. They could have done a whole bunch of stuff during the pandemic, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they relied on the Wisconsin Institute of Lies and Deception.
really, I've never heard of that organization.
It's short for. It's long for Will. Okay. They came back and they did all they could to go before the Supreme Court and argue their cases, and then have that court legislate from the bench instead of having the legislature come back and do their job. Mm-hmm. That's how that all worked out. All right. Well, anyway, I'm just a little irritated by the whole show.
Well,
basically,
I can tell. Yeah.
We're going to be talking about transgender exclusion being turned away in the appeals court. You can't do it, and that might affect a lot of legislation across the entire country. A big oil guy got together with OPEC and said, hey, you know what? We are not going to produce as much oil. See, now, had we been outside, that horn...
That would have been really loud. Because it was loud in here.
Yeah, it was really loud. There was a bus cruising through State Street.
Yeah.
Knocking over bicyclists. well, that happens, Yeah.
Luckily, you had that horn, so that got the bicyclist's attention. And, yeah.
So
everybody's okay.
The whole issue of high prices at the gas pump were created by this guy and OPEC scheming to shorten the supply of petroleum, so everybody had high prices at the gas pump.
Just one big oil guy could do that?
Yep, one guy did it.
Wow. That's amazing. He's got that power.
Oh, yeah. It was a big company.
Yeah. Okay.
And now corporations are snapping back. They don't like regulation. They don't like to hurt their profit lines. And that's happening right now. And George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, what's he up to?
He was milquetoast for so many years. we begged him, please ask a follow-up question, a tough question somewhere along the way.
Anything.
And now he's coming out.
Is he?
Yeah, he's swinging.
Wow.
And he's making sense.
Okay.
And I hope that somewhere along the way, the rest of the media gets the message that he is passing along to them. A little advice.
Well, we'll get to all that later, but first we have the National Day calendar for today.
Yes.
Wednesday, May 15th. We ready to do this?
I think so.
Okay. All right. What kind of day is it today? Is it Bring Flowers to Someone Day, or is it Juice Slush Day? Is it Jalapeno Day? Is it Chocolate Chip Day? How about Nylon Stockings Day or Peace Officers Memorial Day? Which of those days does not belong in that group of days? John?
Well,
you want me to run by them again?
No. Right. Chocolate Chip Day sounds really stupid.
Well, it may sound stupid to you, but to the chocolate chip fans, they're celebrating today, so you are wrong.
Wow.
There we go. No. Sam, do you have a guess?
I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Okay, as usual, just pushing the buttons and flipping the switches back in the control room.
Yeah. It's not memory at this point.
Is it? It's not National Jalapeno Day. Why would they have a day just for jalapenos? That's stupid. It's not today if they do have a day.
Well, they should have a day like that.
You think so?
Yeah, well, they've had jalapeno cheeses now.
I know. They've got all kinds
Everything
of
has
stuff.
the flavor of jalapeno.
Mm-hmm. It's Bring Flowers to Someone Day. Jalapeno. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Julian.
How do you pronounce that?
How do you pronounce
that?
We'll see if Julian knows how to pronounce it.
Let's see if he can give that pronunciation in French.
You'll let us know when you've got Julian ready to go. It's Bring Flowers to Someone Day. April showers mean May 15th is Bringing Flowers to Someone Day to celebrate why giving flowers plays a significant role in kindness. And, of course, it couldn't come along at a better time because Mother's Day was a couple of days ago. So if you screwed up on your Mother's Day plans, you could bring her flowers.
Just say you were planning to do it on
right.
National Flowers
Bring Flowers
Day.
to Someone Day. Flowers are one of nature's most beautiful gifts, John. Bring flowers to someone day is the perfect way to give the gift of love and kindness to those around you. Whether you gift flowers to show sympathy or just because, the simple act of giving flowers brings joy to the recipient. Okay? Okay. I know you're disgusted completely with that. All right. National Juice Slush Day. Not slushy, just slush day.
So
I don't know what's the difference.
All you need is another day for your wife to get really angry. Well,
Are you
it's
still
Bring
in the-
Flowers to Someone Day.
Are you still in the doghouse? Really? 3 days later? Jeez. Oh, she's
Just
tough.
more anger.
Yeah, okay. National Juice Slush Day celebrates the icy delight that has come to be known as frozen juice slush or slushies. A juice slush is an ice-based drink comprised of 100% fruit juice. As a frozen drink, basic flavors include strawberry, lime, grape, cherry. Okay. Let's move on to nylon stock days.
Oh, yeah. This day was really boring. Let's go to nylon stockings day.
Do a lot of women still wear nylon stockings?
I don't think so.
I doubt it. I mean, I haven't really checked, but we could do a survey. But many may not remember ever hearing the terms nylon stockings, varying in color, design, and transparency. A nylon stocking, also known as hose, is a close-fitting, variously elastic garment worn the same as socks or tights. Now, here's an interesting fact, John.
All right.
Stockings were worn before the 1890s. They were made of woven cloth, such as cotton, linen, wool,
Well, that makes sense,
wool
right?
or
Like
silk.
leg warmers.
Yeah. But before the 1920s, women's stockings were worn for warmth. As the hemlines of women's dresses rose in the 1920s, women began to wear stockings over their exposed legs. And these 1920 stockings were sheer, made of silk or rayon, followed by nylon in the 1940s. Isn't that interesting?
No.
I don't think so either.
I have
Let's
to,
move on.
I have to say that,
just nobody
listening
cares.
to everybody complain about getting a run in their nylons was just enough
I know
to push you over the edge.
I get it. All right, we have just less than a minute here, so it's National Chocolate Chip Day. Have you ever wondered how a single ingredient would change a recipe? Well, if it weren't for one curious baker in 1937, Ruth Graves Wakefield of Whitman, Massachusetts, well, she was the one who added those little chocolate chips
to cookies
into the
and
cookies.
everything.
So we can thank Ruth Graves Wakefield on this
A big
Wednesday
salute.
morning. A big salute from John and Gordy. Here at Short Stack Eatery, we're just getting warmed up. And we're coming back with all the history for this day
Can't
way
wait.
back when.
Can't wait.
Coming up.
Ay, ay, ay.
It's all good. It's all good. Did you find jalapeno from Julian?
I did, yeah.
All right, let's go back to that, and then we'll get into whatever we're going to get into with history. First airmail. Let's see. Mickey Mouse, McDonald's, women entering the armed forces.
20 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the sound of a man working on a chain.
10 seconds.
Who
It's a great song.
was?
Here we go.
Mad Radio, WMDX 92.7 FM at 1580 AM. The John and Gordy Show.
Yeah. Jimmy. Didn't they use this in Apocalypse Now? I think this was in one of the great scenes.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen.
Oh,
Jimi Hendrix. Well, here it is, Wednesday, May 15th. So as it's Wednesday, we're at Short Stack Eatery, downtown Madison, 301 West Johnson. Stop by, say hi. We'll be here till 8. John, we're going to get into the history books now.
that's what I want to hear.
You want to go back in time?
Yeah, I'd like to go back in time.
Wouldn't that be
A little bit
nice?
of time tunnel here.
We're going to
But
take the time
first-
tunnel?
Well, no. Well, that's maybe where
Unless-
we should do the time tunnel is during the history segment. Gee, what a great idea. No, I want to know, did we get the pronunciation of jalapeno right? Because I'm a little confused, Sam.
Me
Do
too.
we have
Typical
Bumping into
Mexican
walls.
pronunciation, or let's say in Spanish or in Mexican, jalapeno. Jalapeno, chili pepper. Jalapeno. Jalapeno.
Enyo.
Jalapeno.
jalapeno?
Jalapeno chili
Jalapeno.
pepper. Here are many more
Chili
videos
pepper.
on how to pronounce
Julian
Chili
to the
pepper.
rescue once again.
I love that. Yeah.
Jalapeno.
Now we know for sure.
Jalapeno. Okay.
He's confirmed it.
Thank God we have
Jalapeno.
Julian
Yeah.
to help us along with our day. All right, what happened in history on May 15th, Sam?
Well, let's take a look-see.
Let's see.
1918,
Yeah.
way back in the day, the first airmail route from the U.S. Postal Service begins operating between New York and Washington, D.C. 1918.
What a day that must have been. Okay.
Imagine your letter getting carried in like this rickety old biplane.
Right?
Yeah.
Something you'd see at the beginning of a old black and white movie.
Yeah, like a silent era movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Speaking
Yeah.
of the movies, Mickey Mouse made his first debut on this day in 1928. Steamboat Willie?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't actually Steamboat Willie that he first appeared in. Steamboat Willie
what
was
was
the
it?
first. It was a short called Plane Crazy. That
There you
connected
go.
to planes also. And
wow.
it was actually silent. Steamboat Willie was the first sound Mickey Mouse cartoon, and so it really
right.
took off, and everyone remembers it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to
Well,
know.
that's too, plain crazy. I'd like to see that
Yeah.
animation now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it a couple times. It's
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's cool. It's
okay.
an old Mickey Mouse cartoon.
How long is it? Is like just a regular cartoon, like 10
yeah,
minutes?
it's like 7-8 minutes, something like
Okay.
that.
So it's some kind of plain crazy adventure with Mickey
Yes.
Mouse, the first one.
It's him. It's
Silent.
him flying planes in a really goofy manner, basically.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
1940, the first McDonald's opens in San Bernardino, California.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that fantastic?
Long before Ray Kroc came
yeah.
along and began franchising everything. It was just
Yeah.
the McDonald's brothers.
What was the movie about Ray Kroc? What was that called? Remember? Came out a few years ago. It was all about the history
Yeah,
of McDonald's
yeah.
and how Ray Kroc bought,
I can't remember the title of that.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
either. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
2 years
But
after that.
isn't it
Oh, yeah.
isn't
Go
it
ahead.
amazing though how far we've come? We're losing money. We have to hire people at $20 an hour.
Right.
We've got cheap food here. We can't keep our food cheap. And I'm thinking, you know what?
Well-
Fast food restaurants lost that argument a long time ago. It's not cheap food anymore.
Well, and the other day they announced they were going to have a new budget menu because they always
Oh,
have a
they did?
value menu. Yes.
Yes, they have a value menu.
They want to get back to the $5,
$5?
Well,
geez,
yes.
yeah.
They're
what
usually
happened-
$1.
Yeah, what
well-
happened to the $1 menu?
Yeah.
I know. Well, I'm right there with you. I don't know.
So they're not
Why don't
ch-
they do that?
Fast food restaurants aren't cheap anymore.
No.
They provide fast food. They've kept that part of it.
That's it.
But it's not cheap food. So the $20 an hour, stop whining.
Well, it's driving a lot of people back into the restaurants because, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you might as well sit down and eat. You
Yeah,
know?
so,
Well, kind
so the
of.
food is still
Yeah.
fast. The food is more expensive.
Yeah.
Compared to back in the day, has the food gotten any better?
No, I don't think so.
Well,
yeah,
it's
so
got,
then
it's got
why are
Has
they
it?
charging more? I don't know.
It's gotten
I don't
bigger.
think so.
Well, they have gotten bigger, yeah.
Okay.
Well, at that time, way back when, we were less critical of the taste or what kind of food we had in our mouth. And
Those early burgers were, I
well,
guess
yeah,
they were
you
pretty basic.
You filled up on them. You
Yeah.
could buy
Like
5
at-
or 6 burgers for under $1.
Right.
Yeah, like working at your drive-in movie theater. If you drop a burger onto the floor, it doesn't matter.
That's
Just throw it back on the grill.
Exactly. That's what happened to me that one summer. Boss said, just put it back on the grill.
Oh, God.
Really? Yeah, he wasn't kidding.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah. So, anything else on this date, Sam?
We got one more thing. 1942.
What are you mumbling over there? All right.
1942.
I am starting to mumble now. Aren't I?
Oh yeah.
You weren't aware that you were actually talking? Okay. What else happened in history,
this
Sam?
day in
Let's close the
history,
books because, okay.
Yeah, we got to get the book closed. It's too much.
Yeah.
1942. Women enter the armed forces for the first time.
Oh, okay.
The bill allowing this had actually been proposed like several years earlier, back in the late 30s, but it didn't really gain traction until after Pearl Harbor.
What was their job? The Women's Auxiliary Army Corps.
Yeah, so that was like their branch that got formed, the initial
The
branch
WACs.
that women. Yes.
That's what they call them, the WACs. Women's Auxiliary Army Corps. Okay.
Yep, wax.
All right. Anything
Now
else
we
in the?
No.
Go ahead,
no,
Sam.
We got to close
Expound. Are you sure? Oh wow!
That's it.
Wow,
Pretty,
that sound effect.
pretty emphatic
Sounded real,
there.
didn't it?
Yes, yeah, it did. Okay. All right. Well, a little bit later on the show, we're going to have Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation. He's a writer, author, right?
Yes.
And,
yes,
he'll
he's
be
done a lot
stopping
of-
by here
He's
in
done a lot of
person.
touring through the state. He's talked to people in the rural communities, and he's got a good
yeah.
handle of what they think and why there is this thing called resentment. So
Resentment?
we'll see how
Yeah.
that works out.
Yeah, yesterday I was at Target, the super Target, the gigantic Target in Hilldale. This Target is like the size of 5 football fields. It
Right.
just goes on and on. Of course, nobody around to help you find your way. Got to get your GPS going to find the bedding department, where I was just looking for some.
They've moved things
simple
around.
Pillows.
They
and stuff.
have.
They have. And it's amazing. I never, they have the parking underneath there. It was just an amazing facility. They have everything you can think of.
They
I
make
mean,
you
it's
go
just-
up 1,000 steps to get to the store.
It is a long escalator.
But you get
yeah.
a lot of steps in.
Well,
So
don't
it's
you hate
great
when
exercise.
people just get on the escalator and they just stand there?
Yeah.
I want to keep moving. It's
that
good
has got
exercise.
to end. That has got to
There
end.
ought to be a law.
Right.
If you're on the escalator and you can walk, come on, move it along.
Just
It makes
walk
it
up.
faster.
It goes a lot faster. You get up
Yes.
there and you're
What's the
still
matter with you?
exercising.
And then coming down, I'd never seen this before, and these have
Yeah.
probably been around for years. You can put your golf cart, you can put your shopping cart
Yeah.
on the escalator. There's an escalator next to the regular escalator, and it just moves along with it.
Isn't that wild?
I had never noticed that
Yeah.
before.
It's
I've
very,
been
very
there.
Jetsons.
Yeah. So you've been to that Target?
I have a
Many
whole
times.
bunch of times.
Yeah.
And I've run up and down those stairs
Pretty
thousands
huge.
of times just getting so quick.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, I'll tell you about coming up how to stick a queen-size mattress and frame in a Subaru Outback.
You're doing some moving, man.
I did it yesterday. We'll be back with more of John and Gordy live from Short Stack Eatery. Stay with us. Mega transgender. Wah, 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 wah. The John and Gordy Hullabaloo Shindig.
Family show.
Yes, Hullabaloo Shindig Family Show.
All right. Where are we on this thing? Oh, yeah, 30. Huh. All right. Well, let's do the.
Kind of like the background music. What is this liner here? Let's listen to this for a second.
Here they are, those two old guys who can't remember what they had for breakfast an hour ago.
Oh.
It's John and Gordy.
Okay, let's hear it. Don't worry.
I'm getting some coffee.
Are you?
There is a definite.
I got some.
There's a non-coffee lag here.
Here's one we haven't heard in a long time.
And on June 14th, 1946, God lost a bet with Satan, and Satan said, "Pay up." So
Donald Trump is kind of a human gumball machine.
All right.
Do we have the specifics on the vetoes? Which, like, 9 bills got vetoed? Biden's dogs. Here we go.
Nice.
Nice doggy.
I love that stuff. All right. Julian. Oh, he's so helpful. Let's see what we got here.
Just tradition says I got to play the pancake song, so stand by for that.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I know.
Oh, let's see what we
Seems
got
extra
here.
noisy in here today. They're busy. They're cooking something good back there. We got the early morning crowd here.
Yeah. Senate Republicans vote to override 9 of the vetoes. I have that story right here from Wisconsin State Journal. After 3 hours of discussion, Tuesday's session ended abruptly when the Senate Majority Leader Lemieux shutting down further debate and forced a vote on the final veto override attempt. Much of the loud objections by the Democrats have never been so angry.
Yeah.
Angry Johnny. Republicans in the Assembly have given no indication that they plan
I've got Angry Johnny standing.
2/3
1 minute.
supermajority in the Senate.
Okay. They turned the music off. They have to do that for us.
They must have heard you, and they're not happy.
Blame me. You're over there ranting and raving like a lunatic.
I know.
Angry old man. Oh, God.
10 seconds.
I'm going to talk about stuff in that mattress in my car.
All right.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Old West Exterminators, the only exterminators in town who kill your roaches after giving them guns and allowing the roaches to draw first.
Fight back.
You got to make it fair.
Mad Radio, WMDX 92.7 FM at 1580 AM, all over your social media dial and the Civic Media app as well. Just hit the button for text or call and let us know what you think. It's called feedback, and we
That's it.
certainly do appreciate that.
It's bright, beautiful, sunny today. Right now, 48 degrees, highs today in the low 70s. It's going to be gorgeous all day long.
It will be.
Yeah. Yesterday, John, I'm moving. I know you're probably getting tired of me talking about this.
I'm not tired about it. I love the new perspective.
You came over a couple of days ago and did a walk around into the house that I'm moving into.
Beautiful old place.
Yeah,
love old
nice
houses.
Hardwood floors, and lots of woodwork. It's
gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of great a lot of space to fill for me. I don't have that much stuff, but I do have a queen size mattress and frame. And I thought, can I fit this in the back of a Subaru Outback? Is there any way, or could I strap it to the roof somehow and drive, 40 miles or whatever it is up to from Baraboo down to Madison?
Well, let's get the ground rules here. I mean, your mattress is what? A foam mattress? Is it a spring mattress?
No, it's not a spring mattress. It's one of those mattresses. I got it a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
So it's foam or something.
Yeah, it came in a big box.
Okay, yeah.
I ordered it from Wayfair or one of those places.
Sure.
So, when you cut open the box, boom, this mattress just explodes.
Anything. You could roll it.
You could. I thought, well, I'll just put it back in the box. And that wasn't going to happen.
No.
It's not happening at all. I had to wrestle this thing in order to fold it in half. I thought, well, the only chance I have is folding it in half and stuffing it in the back of the Subaru. It really took a lot. It took everything I had to fold it in half to begin with, and then I grabbed a mic cord and wrapped it around the mattress and tied it up, and that took a good 15 minutes just to do that part. And then I dragged it down the hallway, into the garage and into the Subaru. I'm pushing as hard as I can to just get, and it just barely fit. I mean, I had to stuff it in there.
Hitting the back of the front seats. Right?
Well, yes. Yeah, all the way. And then I had to stick the frame in there. I had to disassemble the whole thing, which took, another almost 45 minutes just to take it all apart, the frame, and, and get it all together.
What about the box spring?
There's no box spring. The frame acts as a box spring.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the best part. Mm-hmm. So then I got it all in. Now, that's fine. And I put other stuff in there that I was transporting.
Even more stuff.
More stuff. Then I travel down here, and now I've got to go into my little tiny garage here, and just barely. There's no driveway to speak of.
There really isn't any.
It's right off the sidewalk.
Right on the sidewalk.
It's really kind of scary, but I was able to get it out of there and put it on a cart and pull it down. But getting it up the stairs, that was the real issue.
Wow.
I've got wooden stairs. Yeah. They have a curve in them. It took me all of
my God,
a good half hour. I almost thought about calling you.
You could have called.
I could have, but I didn't. I was thinking, I can do this. I can do this. But it just was a struggle all the way. But just so you know, if you do have a Subaru Outback, you can stuff a queen.
Get something in there.
So, that's my helpful advice to you. Have somebody else to help you. I did it all myself, and it was a wrestling match, both getting it in there, getting it out of there, and getting it up the stairs. That's why I'm exhausted this morning. So,
what was my advice? My advice was buy a new bed frame and a new mattress, have it all delivered.
There was nothing wrong with it.
And you just move the boxes upstairs, assemble, and you're done.
No. Why should I get rid of a perfectly good mattress and box springs?
A lot of people do.
Well, I know, but I only had it 2 or 3 years.
You said you didn't have a box spring.
It didn't need it. It didn't come with a box. Okay. It goes right into the frame.
Right, exactly.
That's the way modern beds have.
Yes, I know. They have the slats, right?
The Box Spring Association of America is very sad because they've eliminated box springs from the whole equation. Yes, they're really kind of useless.
They are.
If you got a good frame, the mattress fits right into it. So, okay. That's my story.
Well, it's good. Is it a platform bed?
I guess you'd call it a platform bed. Well, you can come over and inspect it.
Does it have the slats underneath the mattress?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's not as much a platform bed, but it's close.
Okay. All I know is I slept really well last night because I was back in my usual bed, and it was very comfortable.
Well, see, I suggested that you get a mechanical bed.
Mechanical bed?
Yeah, an electronic bed where you can raise the back up.
Oh, that.
Or you can raise your knee
area. All the high-tech stuff. I think that's all BS.
Well, now that you're a senior, you're going to need that. You act like you're never going to need that.
It makes you feel old, like you're in a hospital or something.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's just like that being in a hospital.
It's a bunch of crap. Okay.
All right, well.
All right. Anyway, I've got more stuff to move if you want to help. By the way, when's the dining room table going to arrive?
I thought about that this morning. I'm going to have to flip that table over and try to disassemble it today.
Why do you have to do it? You've
you.
got 2 boys at home that your 20-year-old kids.
Because I'm curious. I want to disassemble it myself.
Did you assemble it to begin with?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, where'd you get that table? Do you remember?
Slumberland, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
It'll fit well in the dining room
They've
table.
got furniture in Slumberland. It's not just a sleepy place. Not just for beds. They've got table. That's where I got my table. That's where I got my new table.
Your new table?
The one that is the one that I'm giving you.
It looks like a bar table.
Yeah,
it's a stand-up
table.
Yeah.
Man, I just can't.
Is it working out okay now?
Yeah, it's
you
working
like
out fantastic.
Yeah.
Love that table.
We're talking furniture this morning, if you want to jump in.
Well, yeah.
608-879-8255.
Gordy needs a few suggestions about how to,
Now, how to put it all together.
His new apartment.
Yeah.
It's a whole house, folks.
It's a house. Yeah, and I can fit the recliner in, I know, into the Subaru, because that's how I got it in the first place. Yeah. So that's coming in next. I think I might bring that in today.
Recliner or theater seat?
No, it's a recliner. Okay. I got to talk to you about that big screen TV, too. I'm having second thoughts about that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of nice, wouldn't it?
It would be. Did you already give it to somebody else?
No.
Okay,
no,
I got dibs on it.
Yeah, we're still working on the idea of getting a 77-inch OLED LG TV.
That's what you want.
That's what I want.
77 inches.
77 inches.
Good Lord of
mercy. The nice thing about those is that they're deep.
Deep? What do you mean deep?
From top to bottom. It expands the picture tremendously.
No kidding.
Yeah, we've got a 65-inch, but
it's not good enough, huh?
At Costco, they have a 65-inch and a 77-inch, one on top of the other. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, there's a dramatic difference.
So you feel like you're in a movie theater with the 77
That's what I want. We've got the theater seats. Why not feel like you're in a movie theater? I've got the sound system to match that.
I know.
Everybody works on everybody listening to the sound of my voice right now wants a theater system in their living room, in their home someplace. They do want that.
They do.
And I'm just suggesting that, you do it the right way. Get the theater seats.
Where did you get the theater seats? Were those online?
Yes. Theater...
Yeah. Okay.
TheaterSeatStore.com.
Are they all connected to each other, all 4 seats?
No.
They're individual.
Well, now they kind of make the, we have a love seat.
Okay.
In between the 2 other theater seats, which is kind of a nice setup.
Okay.
But they make it now connected. Mm-hmm. We have one that's not exactly connected, so the seats kind of drift apart. The love seat drifts apart.
that
happens.
Abandoned love.
Yeah, I know.
In real life, that happens. Well, again, it's furniture talk this morning, if you want to chime in.
Yeah. All the big topics that we had.
Do you do the popcorn before you watch the movie, too? The whole bit?
I used to.
Yeah, you don't do the popcorn.
No, not too much anymore.
Okay. All right.
But we've been trying to do the popcorn. It just takes a lot of time.
Okay. Tomorrow on the big show, Max Blask will be here. Speaking of films, there's a mental health warrior fundraiser that's going on at Easttown coming up soon. I believe it's May 18th, but don't quote me on that. We'll talk to Max Blask tomorrow, right here on the John and Gordy Show. He's going to tell us all about this fundraiser. Again, it's a mental health warrior film festival. So that's tomorrow. A little later today, Mike McCabe will stop by from Blue Jean Nation. He'll be right here at Short Stack Eatery, 301 West Johnson. Okay? All right.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Let's get to something that may affect all of the laws across the country when it comes to discriminating against transgender individuals. Okay?
What's that?
In a surprising ruling, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that trans exclusions violate Title VII.
All right.
Yeah.
They do.
They also cite Biden's updated Title VII guidance, the first time a major trans ruling has actually recognized the new updated guidance.
I'm not up on all the title numbers here.
I'm not either.
7.
There are different titles.
Yeah.
I'm not really that familiar with it, but the employee in question was denied surgery coverage in 2019. The county had continued to fight her coverage, arguing it is saving money.
Okay.
Nice, huh?
All right.
What a reason. The Count has spent, or the county has spent nearly $1,188,000 fighting her coverage. That's 3 times the entire health care budget.
So, wait a minute.
They could have gotten off easy by just covering it.
Yeah.
Instead, they fought it. They rule that the Bostock Act prevents discrimination in the workplace and rejected the argument that health care denials discriminate on health care rather than trans status.
Okay.
Now, in doing so, they cite Cadell and Falwell. This is kind of in the weeds here, right?
Kinda. Right.
But anyway, stating that proxy discrimination against transgender people through health care is still called discrimination. And that's what they came to. That's the final decision. Interestingly, the court also cites new Title VII guidelines from the Biden administration released in April of 29th. This is the first time that the guidelines have been cited in several, and a reversal for the anti-trans policies that are going on over the entire country at this point. So this will have a major effect on anti-trans laws that are being put in place.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
It is a really good thing.
Yeah. I can't believe they denied the cover, and they fought with $1 million.
$1 million.
Over $1 million fighting this.
Yeah.
This whole thing. Jeez.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. It's crazy.
It is nuts.
To the extent that they would go.
Yeah.
Just to protect something that, is discriminatory. Mm-hmm. And all of these laws are so discriminatory. How can they possibly exist, right? They all should be challenged, and they should all lose.
Well, it's something, again, these are issues that keep popping up about transgender because the Republicans feel they have an issue that they can do these things and get their people going on it.
That's right.
I mean,
That's
it's
right.
just
Now,
it's frustrating.
The other thing, too, we know that the House Republicans rejected any kind of reform whatsoever for the border. Immigration reform.
Right.
They didn't want it because, as Trump had indicated to them, we need an issue for the election.
Right. Yeah, they had a deal.
And that's why they rejected any kind of immigration reform at that point.
But I thought Chuck Schumer was going to bring that back up into the Senate. He announced last week.
Yeah, nothing's happened on that.
Okay.
No surprise from Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
But Big Oil has made the issue of high gas prices at the pump, which, by the way, also exacerbated inflation. So that is a very interesting point because the Federal Trade Commission alleges that a former Pioneer Natural Resources CEO, Pioneer Natural Resources is the name of the company,
Okay.
the CEO, Scott Sheffield, held private conversations with OPEC officials assuring them that his company would keep oil output low. Now, a lot of people don't know it. Well, okay, MAGAs don't know it, but oil prices are guided by OPEC. It's not something we do in this country. We don't do that in this country. It's come up. It's a price fixed by OPEC globally.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, again, the FTC filed a complaint alleging that Scott Sheffield attempted to collude and reduce oil and gas output to increase prices at the pump.
We'll get into more of this, the big oil guy, coming up on the John and Gordy Show, live from Short Stack Eatery. We got more on this, the oil guy. Let's play the Beverly Hillbillies theme.
That's a good
Sam?
idea. Yeah.
Next thing you know, old Judd's a millionaire. Kidding folks said, Judd, move away from there. Oil, Texas tea.
Okay.
And then corporation backlash against American consumers.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. 6C.
Top of the page.
Yep, I see it.
All right.
10 seconds. Here we go.
Come and listen to a story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea.
Texas tea.
Oh, oil.
First thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk
Yeah.
said, Jed, move
Big
away
money
from
in that
there."
oil.
Said,
Yeah,
"California."
making a lot of money on that oil. Mad Radio,
So-
WMDX, 92.7 FM and 1580 AM, the John and Gordy program. And we're talking about the guy who colluded with OPEC to keep the oil supplies low to raise the prices at the pump for all of us. And now we're using that as an issue in the upcoming November election.
This just one guy.
Yeah.
Scott Sheffield from he's the CEO
Well,
of
the one guy
Pioneer
does it.
National Resources.
Everybody else sees it happen.
Oh, yeah,
The
man.
other
They all
company executives jump on board, and
Yep.
they kept the supplies low.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, and this is what actually helped inflation along a little bit, is that because of COVID, no one used their cars anymore. No one went to work, so they had an oversupply.
Right.
And they ran down that oversupply, and there was a huge shortage of oil at that point when the economy started coming back. And that raised the prices at the pump. And that's why, and it's included in the inflation percentage. And that's why inflation went sky high, because they didn't have enough oil and they had to refine it again and
Right.
bring it to the pumps. And it cost a lot of money.
Well,
Now that-
OPEC's been controlling this for decades.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, no matter who's president, they always blame the president for the gas prices. They have really very little control.
And it's something I always like to emphasize,
Yeah.
that the president doesn't have control of this.
Right.
And I chide the other side only because it's so stupid. Please get the message that it's not controlled by the president. Every
It
time the
isn't.
gas prices go low, see, Biden did that.
Right.
I'm just joking when I say that. You people got to catch on to this. Please.
Right.
It's not controlled by the president.
Nope.
And now we're finding out it's basically controlled by the oil executives colluding with OPEC to keep the supply low in this country, so we pay higher prices at the pump.
The only thing the president can do is open up the oil reserves that the nation has standing
Yes.
by. I mean, that's the only thing he can do to sort of, get the prices more under control or lower the prices.
Well,
And they do that once in a while.
I've been paying attention to this.
Yeah.
Because, as you know, there's a winter formula for gasoline.
Right. It's
And
different.
because they deplete it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, there is, again, a shortage, and the prices go up, which we're experiencing right now at the pump.
Right?
But no one brings that up. They just go, oh, well, it's inflation. No, this happens every year.
Well, it's
They change over to the summer formula.
the summer formula, and people are traveling more in the summer too. Vacations and traveling wherever they go during the good weather months. So the price goes up, and we get gouged again.
That's right. That's right. So OPEC is out there controlling the price of all this stuff. No matter how much oil we produce, and we produce more than anybody else in the entire globe,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because OPEC is controlling the price.
Yeah. They still got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I hope we're clear on that. I don't
I'm
think
clear.
I don't think.
I don't
we try to communicate,
Yeah.
a little bit with the MAGAs out there, the ones who really care about how the economy is going.
Yeah.
And I've got to say this: I'm a little depressed this morning. I
Why?
came in. I read a story
What's the
about.
matter?
I read a story about no matter what Biden does, no matter how much good news he can get to the people, bring this information out, so at least they know that he's doing something, and he's doing something dramatically good to this country by bringing jobs, higher wages. the economy is doing really well. And not everybody's affected by it, but you can't sit there and say, well, my life isn't any better. Somebody else's life is, because we have a better economy. But the whole thing here is the story that I read this morning just depressed the hell out of me, is that no matter what he says, it does not matter.
Well, it doesn't seem to matter.
It's a vibe. They're calling this a vibe.
A vibe.
That people have this vibe that things aren't going well. So no matter what kind of message Biden comes out with, no matter how much he talks up the economy, how much he has done, how much this is going to affect the next 5 years of our economy, no one's going to pay attention, because the vibe is saying, no, things aren't as good as you think it is. And so I don't know. How do you even fight the vibe?
I don't know. I have no idea how you do that, because it's always like that.
Yeah.
You always think, well, the country could be doing better. It seems like we've got war going on overseas. We've got Ukraine. We've got the Middle East. It's all, and then it all falls on the president's desk somehow.
Right.
And it works its way down. It's like, well, it's not really going that well, but actually, economically, it's going really well.
It's going really
for
well
most of the country.
And no matter how much he talks it up, how much he has done to this country. Well, for instance, let's get to the capitalism snapping back at the consumers.
Right.
Let's look at that. As we speak,
Yeah.
the pharmaceutical lobby is now suing Biden from cutting the prescription drug prices.
What? Really?
Yeah.
How can they do that?
They're doing that. They're suing because they don't think that the government has any place in controlling the price of prescription drugs.
The pharmaceutical
They're wrong.
lobby, the big pharma guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the banking lobby is suing Biden. They want to stop him from capping credit card late fees.
Oh, Lord. No.
Now, folks,
My God.
that affects us.
Yeah.
That affects us. We pay more. Look, they've got to cap these things. Everybody, I thought, was
Right.
on board with this.
Yeah.
Well, they're on board until they sue and hopefully get it overturned in a court of law. And now,
There's more? There's more?
There's another one.
Uh-oh.
One final one.
Yeah.
The airline industry is suing to stop Biden from requiring them to clearly disclose junk fees up front. Because
Well, they're supposed to hide. They want to hide them, like they always have.
because as a consumer, I don't want to know what those junk fees are up front.
No. Just sign
Right.
up for the
See,
for the stuff.
When you read this story, you
Right.
think, shouldn't anybody who has read this story think, hey, wait a minute, that affects me.
Yes.
I do want to know what those junk fees are.
Absolutely. Why would they try to hide them?
So when you see the pharmaceutical industry saying, no, we want high drug prices, and then you see the credit card companies saying, no, we want to charge late fees, big ones,
Yeah.
something in your brain should go, I'm not for that. I do want to see these things controlled because it's less money coming out of my pocket. Inflation can come down. We can all live a much better life.
Yeah. Well, and the competition should take over and lower those fees naturally. But big pharma, they all stick
There's
together.
Only a few banks.
Yeah, there's only a few.
Pharmaceutical companies that control everything at
Airlines.
this point.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, that's going to do it for the first hour of the John and Gordy Show, live from Short Stack Eatery. Coming up in our next hour, just a few minutes away, Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation will join us. It's all coming up on the John and Gordy Show. Yeah.
John and Gordy in the morning.
As we were saying,
let the sun shine.
it's the John and Gordy Show.
Okay.
I want to get some drop-ins here. I want some audio. Where's my audio?
I don't know.
God.
You didn't
Let's
have.
see what
Oh,
we
you
got
had.
here.
Oh, that's in the next.
Oh,
hour.
that's Stephanopoulos. I had a big
Stephanopoulos.
Got a nice.
Well, let's
little
go with
chunk.
that.
Okay, let's go with Stephanopoulos. Here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
by
he
the
not-
way,
Is he? Yeah. Go ahead.
the guy tomorrow, his name is Max Blaska. Blaska.
What? Oh,
You
what
said
did I say?
Blask.
Oh. Okay.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
I don't remember.
And then we're going to get to this corporate toad that we have as a president of the UW, Jay Rothman. God, what a nightmare.
Wow.
This guy is like, CEO all over the place. Man.
Mental health.
But that's coming up in the 20 break. I definitely want to get Dems. This is... Okay, let's get to... it's going to be...
Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, Stephanopoulos first. That's cut 84.
84.
Okay.
And then 85, 86, and then down to 83. All right?
Got it.
All right.
I'm going to get some coffee. You know what?
Did you pay for it?
You know what?
Here, let me get
She
some.
gives this big.
Here, let me
She
get-
gives this damn
Here, let
big
me
mug,
get it.
right? And then it gets cold really fast. I just get a little bit. Just the regular? Yeah. Not a lot, just a little. Gets cold fast. Where's he going? Oh, yeah, he's getting coffee. All right. And just not with it today. Yep. All right. Let me see here. I was going to, I took our, I'm not watching online.
Which one?
The one on the left. Okay. Are we getting any messages, Sam?
No texts or anything.
All right, got it up again. I had another story up on the screen. I'm all thumbs when it comes to not having a mouse. All right. All right, thanks, man. All right. This is one hell of a mug. God, I gotta bring on our mugs, Big pot of coffee.
So Stephanopoulos, is he not with ABC anymore? I saw he was getting interviewed on some other channel.
Is that where I got this cut? Is he on another channel?
Well, he was talking to...
I didn't pay attention.
Yeah. I didn't watch the interview. I just saw that he was not on ABC. He was on CNN or somewhere else.
Oh. Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have these guys cross.
Interact with each other.
That is something we've been doing here for ages, right?
Trying to break down the barriers in the media world.
How's that going, guys?
That's not working.
Yeah. All right. Not with it. My eyes are just like foggy for some reason.
Speaker Mike Johnson assails Trump's felony trial in remarkable visit outside courthouse.
That's one of our stories coming up.
2 minutes.
Yeah, that Vivek Ramaswamy was there, and all these Republicans gathering because Trump ordered him there.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't know that until yesterday.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the story came out, and I'm thinking, yeah.
What are they doing?
I was wondering why all of these politicians are streaming into the Trump trial.
Right.
And it turns out that's the order.
That's the order of the day.
That's
Show
what
up.
they were told to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Melania is not going to be there. So up soon?
Yeah, in 1 minute.
You know,
30 seconds.
I hate these damn tweets where they say retweet to ensure that
we got one text here from Kurt. Well, then about the price about a company suing everyone. Well, then maybe Biden should have the Federal Trade Commission start breaking up all the banks and oil companies because they're monopolies. Maybe that'll get their attention.
That's it.
5 seconds.
All right.
The opinions that you may hear us express, expressly or otherwise, over the public's airways, is in no way to represent the opinions expressed or otherwise by our management, producers, sponsors, or various members of their staffs or their families or few friends.
Nor should these views express the opinions of the broadcasters, the disc jockeys, the salesmen, the program and music directors, and their secretaries and girlfriends and wives and their staff.
Unless, of course, we are willing to assume that we can assume the responsibility that their opinions will not influence anyone else's opinions.
Or their family and friends.
And staff.
Radio WMDX, I've got that. 92.7 FM and 1580 AM. It's really hard to just keep jotting this stuff down. I'm hoping that there's something new. They haven't added anything new recently.
No. We are live at Short Stack Eatery, as we are every Wednesday morning, and they welcome us in, and we welcome you into the show. This is such a friendly place. It's such a nice, intimate, dining experience here. They're open for breakfast and lunch, and they're open on weekends. They get a big crowd here because they have lots of pancakes here. The short stack pancakes. I love those short stacks. That's why they call it short stack.
The short stacks actually sing. That's them, isn't it?
They got singing pancake day here. And then they speed it up. Oh my gosh! Oh no! It's out of control. Stop the pancakes.
Oh yes. Stop that.
No, don't stop them. Keep them coming. We love the pancakes here. A little bit later on, we've got a guest coming in to Short Stack Eatery. Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation will join us.
Been around a long time, and we got a lot of topics to cover in the last half hour of this program.
Right.
I do want to bring up this, though, because everybody sees this present danger, and that is Trump. Now, he's got this court case. Everybody's kind of covering it. We're going to get into that just a little bit in just a few moments here. But it seems like there is a danger to having Trump as the next president. And it seems like the media isn't really concerned. They're not really paying attention to the present danger. What they're doing is they're covering this trial and all the other trials, but they're really not talking about the possibility of him becoming president and what that really means to the rest of the country. And George Stephanopoulos was recently interviewed on television, and he had a little bit of a rant. And as you mentioned to me, you're not sure whether he's at ABC anymore.
I think he is, but I don't know. I haven't seen him on there for a while. Yeah, he's going. I don't know if he's got a book or what, but I saw him on some other channel other than ABC.
And it's kind of crazy because he's going on other channels, slamming the media.
Right.
How does that work?
I don't know.
But anyway, he's got a little warning for the rest of America, and I thought I'd play it here for you next right now. This is George Stephanopoulos and an important message.
Okay.
I think the most important thing that people should understand about this election is how far from normal it is. We have never had a former presidential candidate who was impeached and then indicted for trying to overturn an election. Never. In all of our history. We've never had a former president, a presidential candidate, who lies about the election that he lost. We've never had a a former president, a presidential candidate, who refuses to pledge to accept the results of the next election if he lost. You know, the peaceful transfer of power is the most fundamental tenet of our democracy. Refusing to accept it, I think, is un-American. I believe it's unconstitutional, and I think it's the job.
People love that.
Getting applause. I don't know if that was on maybe Stephen Colbert or one of the late night shows.
Sound like a panel discussion of some sort.
Yeah.
But it's an important message to keep in mind.
Yeah. Good for him for saying it.
Yeah, finally,
you know, out loud.
Media, say something about this. This is also the news. This is also something that should be covered because there's so much going on. Let's go to that trial. I didn't know about this until yesterday, so I feel like maybe I should have paid a little bit more attention to the current trial, the Stormy Daniels trial, because this is now happening. Trump has found a way to bypass his gag order by demanding that other politicians, major politicians, like, you know, the House Mike Johnson politician, to come in and get around his gag order by complaining about the judge and his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was there. He was there at the trial and out front of the courthouse.
Everybody's out there now.
Oh, Vivek Ramaswamy was there.
Yeah, and Trump keeps blatantly using surrogates to violate the gag order on his behalf. I didn't notice this until somebody brought it up yesterday.
I think it just started yesterday or day before yesterday.
Trump's lackeys are outside the courtroom attacking the judge's daughter. Okay, now let's listen to this cut. This is cut 86. It's Florida Representative Brian Donalds, and followed that by North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
What's he doing there?
We've got a governor.
He came from North Dakota?
Yes, bypassing the Trump gag order for him. This is so outrageous and so extreme.
Yeah,
my head explodes.
Okay,
let's just play the cut.
Okay.
Wrong here. Nothing that has been done poorly by President Trump. The only thing that's being done wrong is by this judge. His daughter's making money, raising money for Democrats, and all of the fundraising emails and all the fundraising things are about this trial that his daughter is using. He won't recuse himself. This is a travesty of justice. This is a misuse of the justice system.
You just noted that the judge has been a Democratic donor. I believe it was to the tune of $35. And then you also mentioned his daughter and her political work. That was something also that the former president repeatedly attacked him for and attacked her for on social media until his gag order that he's under right now was expanded to include members of the judge's family and also members of the prosecution's family. Did Donald Trump ask you to come out and criticize the judge's daughter?
No, not whatsoever. I'm here completely as a volunteer. I'm here because I care about the future of this country and where it's going. But I think it's fine if someone wants to be a Democratic operative and make millions of dollars, but it's sort of been a simple thing. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of judges in Manhattan. Just recuse yourself if you're a judge who's got a family member that's making money off of controversies like this. I think the public and justice would be better served. I mean, it would be a simple thing. Just recuse yourself. There's no issue with someone being a Democrat operative. The issue with
Governor, he asked whether or not he should recuse himself from this after Trump and the legal team made a motion for him to do so, and he was told that he did not need to recuse himself, that he didn't have any conflict of interest that prevented him from overseeing this trial. I mean, you were inside that court this morning. Did he seem fair to you?
I think that it was, we saw a prosecution this morning, one question after another leading the witness. Wow, does the outcome of this case affect any Americans that are facing, Joe Biden's inflation, that are, trying to figure out how to put, food on the table and gas in their car or pay their electricity bill? And
I do have a lot of surrogates, and they are speaking very beautifully, and they come all from all over Washington, and they're highly respected, and they think this is the greatest scam they've ever seen.
Yeah, there it is. That's Trump coming out supporting his surrogates, getting around his gag order, and that was North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Talking about this.
He was there. Of course, he's running for vice president. I mean, that's one of the reasons he was there. And also Vivek Ramaswamy was there. Also Tommy Tuberville was there from Alabama, and J.D. Vance of Ohio. They were all senators.
And they all basically said the same thing.
Yeah.
Standing up and then attacking the judge and his daughter.
Right.
And they're acting like it doesn't affect anybody else, I guess. Well, I don't know. When I robbed my next-door neighbor, it doesn't affect anybody else. Why should I be prosecuted for that when no one else is affected by it? I mean, why would anybody care whether I rob my neighbor or not? Let me go, please. Okay?
Yeah, and this is a hush money trial here about the campaign money and the campaign
it's pretty much
funds.
decided.
Yeah. But who's not there is Melania. Where is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't show up.
Yeah, she's
support.
She's a big supporter.
Yeah.
We've got a phone call on the line here. Dick in Madison. You want to talk to him real quick?
Let's go to Dick right in.
Good morning, Dick. Hello.
Hello. It's okay, though, for a judge that Trump installed down in Florida for her to stay on the documents case. And the most egregious thing about this present trial to me is this. This should be televised because you want to know what makes my head blow up is trying to watch these talking heads and these panels on MSNBC or any of them. It's purely speculation on their part, and it's nothing more than an opinion. We should have been able to see this trial.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. You're getting all of this secondhand. I don't care if they were in the courtroom. They've got a different view of it than, you and I and the next person would have if we were able to actually watch it.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're both doing the same thing. MSNBC and CNN, they're reading the transcripts because that's all they have, and then a few of them are in the courtroom. Then they come out every once in a while and talk about the atmosphere or what the facial expressions were. You're right; they're doing it as it's happening, but these should be televised. Why aren't they televised?
Exactly.
They're just against the rules of that particular court.
The Trump surrogates who came out attacking the judge and his daughter.
Yeah.
And an interesting thing that Maddow brought up, they showed a picture of all of these surrogates out there, 5 or 6 of them.
Right.
And they were all dressed the same. They had the same color suit, the same color tie, white shirt.
No kidding.
Yes. All the same, except for Mike Johnson.
Oh. Yeah,
he had a striped tie.
He didn't get the memo.
He had a striped tie. Okay. He's got to stand out.
Of course.
It was interesting observation. It's almost like they were all trying to dress like Trump in order to just be his surrogate and and drive that message home.
You don't think it was just a coincidence? You think it was intentional?
It was too crazy.
Intentional fashion statement.
They showed a picture that was just crazy.
We've got another call on the line here.
Okay.
Mark is on the line.
All right, Mark. Thanks for calling us. What do you got?
Yeah, guys, I think I don't know if I brought it up here yesterday, but I think this is Trump. These surrogates are out there speaking for Trump, violating the gag order. Are simply our 21st century form of Henry II, who's going, well, to his household nights, will somebody rid me of this cruelest breach? And they went out and murdered Thomas Becket. I mean, these guys are simply doing Trump's bidding, and they're simply Trump's mouthpieces. And they should be, that Trump should be held accountable for what they're saying because you know damn well that he's coordinating with these SOBs.
Exactly. Yes.
Mark, thank you for that call. It is coming up on 19 minutes.
Couldn't agree more.
Past the hour. And we've got much more live from Short Stack Eatery coming up. We'll have our guest, Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation.
All right, let's get to this. We got to get to this story. This is a great one.
Okay.
2 Democrats.
Yeah.
Who aren't really Democrats. 2 Democrats.
Tennessee.
They get into this race. Bob Ferguson.
Okay.
And he's the incumbent.
All right.
And they're all running for governor. So they've got 3 Bob Fergusons running at the same time.
They can't do that. What? That's Well, how can they allow? Where is this?
20 seconds.
Washington State.
Ten seconds.
Mad Radio. WMDX 92.7 FM at 1580 AM.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking insanity by the MAGAs and the links that they will go through.
Mm-hmm. We're here at Short Stack Eatery, and our guest is about to join us here in a few minutes.
He just walked in.
Yeah.
Mike McCabe just walked in, and we're going to talk about something that is just absolutely crazy.
Okay.
A Democrat by the name of Bob Ferguson is running for the Washington State governor.
Okay. Bob Ferguson.
Yeah, Bob Ferguson is running.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Two additional Democratic candidates have filed to run for governor under the name of Bob Ferguson to take on Bob Ferguson.
Wait a minute.
The top Democrat.
There's already a Bob Ferguson.
Yes.
The real Bob Ferguson.
Yes.
And there's two others?
Right-wing activist Glenn Morgan was the volunteer campaign manager for two of the Bob Fergusons running for governor. He's a right-winger.
Okay.
He got these guys to run as Bob Ferguson.
Well, okay.
I'm not kidding you.
What?
The GOP strategy seems to be blame everyone else for cheating while they cheat themselves. This is cut 85. This is just a wonderful story. It's so surreal that they would actually try to do something like this. It really is. This is a mad, mad world. Let's listen to this. Cut 85.
All right.
Sort of fraud. But if it seems wrong that you should be able to do this, it is because it is wrong and it's a crime. Now, I suspect that the two other Bob Fergusons that were duped into putting their name onto the ballot didn't know and weren't told that this is a Class B felony. A Class B felony has a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. And subsection 4 here seems like it was written for today. It says a surname that is similar to one who has already filed for the same office and whose political reputation is widely known, with intent to confuse, clearly this is to confuse, and mislead the electors by capitalizing on the public reputation of the candidate who has previously filed, who's been the Attorney General for 12 years, who's been on the King County Council for 8 years before that. These other Bob Fergusons, I don't know them. I know they don't have any reputation. They've never held public office. And I suspect that they weren't told that this little prank was a Class B felony that could land them in prison.
Okay.
I hope it does. So how do
Bob Fergusons?
How do two people running as Bob Ferguson, whose names probably aren't Bob Ferguson, running for the governor in Washington?
They can't do that.
This is insane, right?
It's illegal.
Well, it is illegal, and I hope they lock these sons of guns up. Holy mackerel! I mean, this is real. I would never have thought of this.
How many more Bob Fergusons can they fit on the ballot? Is there a limit?
That's a good question. Maybe they should pass a law limiting how many candidates with the same name can run at the same time. Oh my God!
They're just trying to do everything they can to gum up the works, to confuse people and create issues where issues really shouldn't exist at all.
In North Carolina, they have just one candidate, and that is Mark Robinson, a Republican candidate for governor there. And I don't know how a guy can get away with saying what he's going to say here in cut 83. Okay. This is truly an amazing statement. And I want women voters to listen up. Check this out. Let's listen to his statement. This is Mark Robinson.
I would say to him, if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
There you go.
Whoa.
Wants to go back to an America where women couldn't vote.
That's Mark Robinson.
He's running on that.
In North Carolina.
Yeah.
Running for governor on the platform that women should not be voting. It should be illegal for women to vote in North Carolina.
Well, you think that's bad? Robinson is leading the Democratic nominee. 42 to 41%, according to the latest Emerson College poll. So he's leading. This is one of his strengths. I guess. I don't know.
You know, when they're sitting around the marketing room at these campaign headquarters, do they float these ideas past the candidate? Is this somebody else's idea or just something he came up with on his own?
I think it's got to be an ad-lib moment
because
he thinks is a very strong point to make.
They didn't workshop that one very well. Just do a little polling, maybe some, just do some research on whether that's a good idea or not.
Yeah, I saw another campaign tweet that is stunning. The audio wasn't great because the candidate is a woman and she's out jogging.
Okay.
It's Missouri GOP Secretary of State candidate Valentina Gomez. She posted a video. In the video, she says this: "In America, you can be anything you want. So don't be weak and gay. Stay effing hard." That is her message.
Who is this again?
To voters. This is Valentina Gomez in Missouri. She's a candidate for the GOP Secretary of State out there. And again, the message is: in America, you can be anything you want. So don't be weak. You can be anything you want, but you can't be weak and you can't be gay. There are exceptions. You can be anything you want, but my message is you can't be this.
Okay. Again, do they don't they run this by anybody before they, get up on stage and say these things?
What could she mean by stay effing hard?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
not sure.
Your jaws drop, and this is these are the candidates.
Well, it's
the
Missouri.
mega candidates that are running nationwide.
It's Missouri. It's the show me state. So show me some logic. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, show me some exceptions to you can be anything you want.
Right.
I mean, she's making it up as she go along. You can be anything you want. I have a few exceptions, and I might add to that once I'm the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable stuff.
We'll have to track that. All right.
We will. Mike McCabe is here.
He's standing by
at Short Stack.
He's
we're going to get to a whole bunch of stuff. I know. I've always said that we should at least try to appear to care about rural voters.
Sure.
And I'm talking about state legislators, Democratic state legislators. I mean, we've been doing it constantly on this show. We support rural communities. We support the farmers. We want to see more of them succeed. We want to see them drinking clean water.
Yeah.
I've talked to farmers who are so concerned about their drinking water that their neighbors are dying or getting diseases that they blame on the water. These are farmers who are blaming the water.
And they need internet service too.
And they need internet service, yes.
Yeah.
So
some of that is lacking.
And they need medical care out in the rural communities, and we're going to talk about that. It's a big issue for Mike McCabe, and he'll be here in just a few moments, and we'll be talking to him. Blue Jean Nation, and this is the John and Gordy program, and we've got so much more also coming up a little bit later on, I hope, if we have some time.
Right.
A few other stories.
Okay. We are live at Short Stack Eatery, 301 West Johnson Street. We will continue, and Mike McCabe joins us next.
John and Gordy Show.
Come on.
As we were saying, it's the John and Gordy Show.
John and Gordy in the morning.
As we were saying,
Let the sun shine.
it's the John and Gordy Show.
So, that's good having you.
I'm good.
Tell me what Blue Jean Nation is. I don't know.
Oh, it was an effort that formed in 2015.
Yep.
Okay.
And it really is was dedicated to helping to bridge the rural-urban divide, which was already starting to be really noticeable.
Sure. Okay.
But also,
we can save some of this for our conversation, but
also,
I just wanted to.
But also just an effort to create housing for the politically homeless. People who just felt like they were on the outside looking in, left out, couldn't really see a place for themselves. And so it was trying to encourage people at the local community level to re-engage or engage in
Now you ran for office.
I ran for governor.
That's it. I know. And this was the message you had.
Through Blue Jean Nation ran for state assembly and for local office, and they started up small community enterprises to get people engaged, and so that's what it's all about. And it's still ongoing. For a while we had paid staff and active fundraising, but now it's more of a volunteer kind of effort. And just in the last few days, we did this campaign manual on how to run on a shoestring.
Oh, really?
And just yesterday, I got a state assembly candidate from the Eau Claire area who wanted it and wants to talk more. And then the guy up in the 7th Congressional District who's running, Kyle Kilborn, he wanted it.
Excellent.
So it's just trying to empower people to find their way in politics at a time when so many people are repelled.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's quite a tall order.
But it really was rural focused.
Yeah.
It was trying to get outside of Madison, and there was a really active chapter in Wapaka and Washera counties. Up in Dunn County, there's this thing that's still ongoing today that sprung up. And
so do you have a website or Facebook? Or,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do,
it's on social media now.
Okay.
Facebook. I went to your Facebook site to get a lot of the topics here. Recent stories that you're involved in.
Yeah.
So.
Do you live here in Madison?
On the north side, yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming in here this morning.
I want to talk to you kind of about fiber optics going statewide. The electrification, if you will, of the state. You got something on that, and preventing rural hospitals and clinics from going out of business. You can add to that, can't you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And. Have you been following like Project 2025? Have you been looking into that at all?
Yeah, I've actually read it.
Oh, you read it?
Really?
All right.
Wow, congratulations.
I think we're going to take the entire half hour here.
It's a frightening read.
It is.
I'll bet. Yeah.
I want Sam, could you look up 357 before I started breaking it down by month. 357. It is Project 2025. Can you look that up? We're just going to play a part of it. That's all. Okay. If you can find it, let us know.
357.
357.
So, thing to remember: just get really close to this mic. I mean, uncomfortably close, where you're touching it occasionally.
John. Okay.
Yeah.
What part do you want to play?
I just want to start it right from the beginning. We'll just play a little piece of it.
Got it.
I'll let you know when to stop playing it.
How much time till we start up?
Yeah. 45 seconds, 50 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to play. There's audio of a dissection. They're reading Project 2025. I'll play a little piece of that so you can get a feel for it. It's fantastic, by the way. They go over the whole thing. You don't have to read it.
That's the cut you told me about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In these geothermal farming, they're like
10 seconds.
Huge corporate. I mean, they're giant warehouses, right? And they grow all this stuff there.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Okay, here we go. Can you hear?
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Milk of Magnesia Light. bringing you the same great taste of milk of magnesia you've loved for years, but now with only half the calories of other leading laxatives.
It's always good to have something like that around.
It's good stuff.
Mad Radio, WMDX, 92.7 FM at 1580 AM, broadcasting from the capital city, Madison, Wisconsin, a block away from the Big Dome, where they tried to override a few vetoes of the governor and, just for show. The assembly isn't on board. There's not enough there to override those vetoes, so big deal, right?
Yeah.
The show.
And
anyway,
we are here live at Short Stack Eatery, and we welcome in Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation. Good to have you here, Mike.
It's great to have you here.
Good morning, guys.
Mike actually ran for governor at one time and came out with a book, Blue Jean Nation. Yeah. We had it in our library at the station, and I picked it up. I started paging through it, and I thought, oh my gosh, we got to have you in here as a guest. And this is really an incredible thing. I'd love to talk to you about all the issues that you have been on for a long, long time. And one of them is the rural divide, that we've got rural and an urban divide that I think Scott Walker perfected. It was the divide and conquer idea that he had initially when he became governor. And it worked out amazingly well. And now there's this rural resentment. There was a whole book on that. And other books have come out as well in regards to the rural resentment. And I want to get your feedback on the latest book. You're aware of the latest book in regards to that. What is it accurate in any way, shape, or form? You've been out there talking to people in the rural communities and farmers. What is your perspective on that?
Well, rural resentment is real.
Yeah.
No question about that. And I have the benefit of having, I come from a farming family. Mm-hmm. I grew up on a dairy farm, and my family's still in farming. And so I've had the benefit of living across the rural-urban divide. I've lived in the city, I've lived in the country, and at different parts of my life. And I see so much that rural and urban people have in common, and yet they see each other as enemies.
Yeah.
And they're kind of at each other's throats, which is very sad to me because there's so much that they could get done together.
So how did it come to that point?
Well, like I said, rural resentment is real. And when you see 4 million farmers removed from the land in this country over the course of just a few decades, mm-hmm. And then you see the ripple effects through rural communities, because all of a sudden the farm implement dealer doesn't have all those families to sell to. The local cafes, the coffee shops, the grocery stores. If one huge corporate operation is there, that doesn't fill the school with school children, and all of a sudden the local school closes. And all of these institutions start to teeter and wobble, and you see rural communities dying. And rural people aren't stupid. They understand what's going on, and they understand that their way of life is at great risk. And then they feel like government, they just take one trip to Milwaukee to see a Brewers game or Green Bay to see a Packers game, and they see all the interchanges and the traffic circles, and they see where all their gas tax money's going to, and they are living on roads that used to be paved and now have been turned back to gravel because they can't afford to fill the potholes.
Right.
That creates resentment. Mm-hmm. They watch their rural hospitals closing, and they've got to drive a half hour or 45 minutes if they have a medical emergency to find the nearest hospital. All of that makes them feel like they've been ignored or forgotten. They've been left behind, and that ticks them off. And I understand that. Yeah. I understand what's going on in those communities because I come from those communities. And when people are feeling alienated, I think one of the things that's happened is they need things like a new rural, the equivalent of a rural electrification act.
Right, with the fiber optics.
And
internet.
Things like rural electrification, that made my dad, who had an 8th grade education, was a dairy farmer, into a lifelong Democratic voter. Mm-hmm. Because of FDR.
Yeah.
He voted Democrat his whole life because of Roosevelt and all the things that happened during the New Deal. And yet today, electricity stretches down all those back roads to every barn and every farmhouse, but they can't get an internet connection.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They can't get a decent cell phone signal. So the things that we rely on today are not available in a lot of these rural places, and so I think what they say is, hey, if government's not going to work for us, if our tax money is not going to come back here and help benefit us, then we might as well go for the least government possible, and at least save money on our taxes.
So that's why they like Republicans who promise no government, small government. We're not going to help anybody. You're out there on your own.
And Republicans haven't lifted a finger. They haven't done a damn thing for rural communities.
You just listed all of the things that rural communities need.
Yeah. Yes. And they're not getting it, but they tap into that resentment and they exploit it, and they say, look, government is your enemy. Government isn't working for you, and they can see that, and so then they go for the anti-government party, which is heartbreaking, because I grew up in an area where the member of Congress was a Democrat when I was young. The state assembly and state senator, the state assembly representative and the state senator both were Democrats, and now that is one of the brightest red counties in Wisconsin, Clark County.
Clark County, okay.
It went heavily to Trump, and it has a absolute Republican representation. I've watched that transformation over the course of my life. And to me, we've got to care about what's going on in those rural places, and it has to be, you can't just say it, you got to demonstrate something the way FDR did. My dad could go into any rural community and he would say, oh, the CCC built that, or the WPA built that. Or he saw the electric lines running down those roads. He saw what the REA was doing in terms of bringing electricity to all the back roads. And that made him a Democratic voter, because he saw government benefiting him and his way of life in his community.
Well, before fiber optic, and we're talking to Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation, before fiber optic became popular, there was coax cable, but they have, as you mentioned, telephone lines, electrical lines going to every farm, every area of the state. I always thought, couldn't they run those same lines, cable, on the same wires, on the same posts, right to the same houses that get electricity? Couldn't they have done that? I think they could have done that.
Yeah, but but no private company is going to do that, because they're not going to go to great expense to extend service to pick up a few extra customers down some back road. The only way we have rural electrification in this country, where there's electricity to every barn and every farmhouse, is because there was a massive government undertaking to bring it there. No utility company was going to string all that wire, because to pick up a few extra customers down some gravel road, it doesn't get you a return on investment. It took a government effort, and a massive one. And there would be regions of our country that still would be without electricity had it not been for the rural electrification.
Right. And plus, the Biden administration has done so much now to put money into this fiber optic outreach to the rural communities. Recent poll, you might have caught this, is that those in the rural communities believe a lot of what the Democrats want to do for them, but they're a little skeptical, and they have been told over and over by the small government Republicans that you don't want this is going to hurt. And so they're still voting for Republicans, even if they agree mostly with the Democratic platform and social programs.
Absolutely. And there needs to be some time for trust to be built. And they're going they're going to have to see results. When they see government doing something that is improving their lives, that's when they'll start to trust in government again. And that'll take some time. But, people up there used to vote for Democrats, then they stopped. Now they vote for Republicans. This will swing. I'm confident of it. This will swing eventually. Will it happen instantly? No. It's going to take some time. In any relationship, there has to be trust. And when trust has been broken, it takes a long time to mend it and to repair that.
Again, we're talking to Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation. So let's talk about this planet-friendly farm bill. The geothermal solar greenhouse for fresh stuff. How is that going over in the rural communities? Is there a way to what are the ways that we can rebuild this kind of trust by doing these kind of things? Because farmers are maybe traditionally slow to change how they farm and what they put in the ground and how they get it out. Some of them are right with the program, but are there some opportunities there to rebuild some trust?
Well, first, I have to give a shout out to all the people at 350 Wisconsin. I'm part of a team there that works to promote regenerative agriculture.
Okay, regenerative agriculture.
And we've been working to try to make agriculture something that is helping solve the climate crisis rather than making it worse. Moving away from industrial ag and moving toward a system that's in harmony with nature and that actually helps us get out of this mess that we're in terms of the climate crisis. So that's work I do, working to promote and showcase farmers who are doing it the right way. It's amazing when you go out to rural settings, the amount of experimentation that's going on in agriculture.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
there are the traditional producers, and you're right. I grew up on a farm. Farmers are naturally conservative people, and I don't mean that politically. I mean
Conserving the ground that
they are set in their ways. They know how to farm, and they're reluctant to change what they know. But I think more and more farmers, it's dawning on them that what's happening is ruinous. It's creating cancer in their family when they dump all these chemicals on the land. They understand that they're killing the soil.
Yeah.
Right.
And that the only way they're getting decent harvest is by putting more and more chemical fertilizer on the land. They know that. They can feel it. And they don't like that. So there's a lot of people out there experimenting with different ways to do this and different ways to practice agriculture.
More organic approaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And not only full certified organic operations, but regenerative operations that are using soil management practices aimed at bringing the soil back to life. So that you don't have to use so many chemical inputs.
That gets into a theory that I have, okay? I know that a lot of these geothermal solar greenhouses are actually in urban areas to feed the local communities there. I think it's a great, fantastic idea, but here's an idea that I had. Couldn't they put these greenhouses in throughout the countryside so a farm could maybe bank on or stay in existence based on the greenhouse and not have to plant a crop, not have to fertilize the soil, and allow the soil to get back to its normal everyday roots, basically, using tilling the soil and stuff. Can't they just do that? Take a year break from planting a crop and use those greenhouses instead and supplement their income that way. In fact, it saves a lot of water, a lot of fertilization. It's one of the best ways to go, and I'm really into this geothermal solar greenhouse idea.
There are operations out there that are using greenhouses. It can be done in an urban landscape. There's urban agriculture going on all across the country, but out in rural settings, you see it done. What I'm seeing, especially with really small farmers, is they are incredibly diversified. I was just talking to a woman who's running a farm between Stoughton and McFarland.
Okay.
She has a huge vegetable gardening operation because she has a CSA, sells produce to local customers. She has milking goats, so she sells goat milk. She has pasture-raised beef. She has even planted flax for linen making, and she is incredibly diversified, so that there are multiple income streams. When we got into this situation where you only grow corn, or you only grow soybeans, or you only milk cows, and you were completely dependent on one thing, you were totally specialized. That was a departure from the way farming used to be. When I was very small, we had pigs, we had chickens, we had horses, we had cows, we had beef cattle, we milked, and that stopped. And people are kind of going back to that, to diversify, to help themselves not be so vulnerable economically.
Hold that thought, Mike. We're going to be back with Mike McCabe with more. Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation on the John and Gordy Show.
Get into
It's a 60-second break. We'll come right back.
Let's get into the funding for hospitals. and facilities that are needed out in small communities.
Yes.
Okay.
We got about 6 or 7 minutes, and then we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. Anything you want to mention about Blue Jean Nation and how people can find out more, please do. Tell us.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get to Project 2025. it's
Too much there.
It's out there.
We got a call when we're back in about farm organization. Here we're on.
Okay.
Man Radio, WMDX, 82.7 FM and 1580 AM. The John and Gordy Show with Mike McCabe from Blue Jean Nation and our guest today. And we're talking about the rural divide, essentially. And we should also maybe go to a phone call right away before we start into another topic.
Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Who's on the line here?
Hi, good morning. It's Kurt. So I'm going to try to articulate this the best I can. Forgive me if it comes off in a negative way. That's not my intention. I'm in my 60s. I have friends who own farms. I have had onset discussions probably over 15 years. It was the transition of farmers changing from Democrat to Republican. The nature of the political beast has radically changed. They can't rely on FDRs anymore. These farmers are going to have to cooperate and work with one another and get together and create their plans and go to the legislators and their representatives, everyone, and start demanding what they want. And if they can't get them to listen, then it's incumbent on them to start finding someone to run against that individual that will make changes in their life. They cannot constantly think, well, I'm screwed, I'm too busy, I don't have time. The world doesn't spin like that. If they want to remain farmers, just like any other small business, you got to start realizing it's from the ground up. So
that's right.
That's
Excellent point. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Didn't sound too negative. We always sound negative on this program anyway. So,
but how do you do that? How do you get farmers that have a lot of different interests, a lot of different things going on?
They're busy.
Each individual farm is doing different stuff. How do you?
Farmers are notoriously difficult to organize.
Yes.
And they're very independent-minded.
Absolutely.
And they're kind of loners, a lot of them. My dad certainly was. We woke up. We got in the barn at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we were doing field work, and then we were out of the barn at 8 o'clock at night. Think about that. From 5 to 8, that was your work day, with a quick break for to grab a bite to eat in midday. But that was your work day. That didn't leave a whole lot of time to go in and be a part of school board meetings or
talk to your local politician.
Yeah, but there are organizations out there. Wisconsin Farmers Union is one I would cite and they particularly focus on bringing together smaller farmers and giving them some clout. So people can do that. But the other thing I would mention is that rural people are mostly not farmers. Most rural people don't farm. They actually live in small towns, and we got to care about what's going on in small towns.
There.
Yeah, and we got to care about what's happening in those small communities and try to make a difference.
One
there.
of those issues happens to be maybe funding, emergency state funding and federal funding for rural hospitals because they're closing down. What is the solution to that?
To me, when you look at when you look at the fact that not only are rural hospitals closing, but I don't consider Eau Claire a rural community,
right?
Or Chippewa Falls,
right?
That's not my idea of a small town or a rural community. And they lost their hospitals.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a canary in a coal mine. That says something is really alarming, because these big companies that are running these hospitals are simply deciding we can't make a profit operating in those areas, so we're out of here. Well, where does that leave people when they can't find a clinic to go to when they're sick, or they can't go to a hospital in a case of a medical emergency?
I'm gonna quote you. I think this is your quote. They can't see that socialism is to a free market economy what yeast is to bread. Without a modest measure of it, capitalism's excesses leave us with an economy that is like unleavened dough. It will not rise. And I think that's a great analogy.
I did write that. I do articles on Substack.
Yes, you do.
If anybody wants to check it out, it's mikemccabe.substack.com. Yeah. And I do weekly articles, and I did one on rural hospitals.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, people have kind of tried to make socialism into a boogeyman. Mm-hmm. But to me, capitalism only works when there is enough of that buffer to deal with the excesses of capitalism.
Yeah.
And to me, the excesses of capitalism play out really vividly with the hospitals.
Yes.
They're saying, we can't make a profit there, we're out of here.
Right.
We're not going to serve these communities. Well, those communities need health care.
Yes.
And that means that there's got to be some government involvement there to make it work.
The biggest solution would be a universal health care system
absolutely.
in this country. It would take care of all of these problems. We could fund those hospitals. We wouldn't have to beg for, emergency state funding or federal funding. We'd get it automatically. It would be part of our system. And everybody, it would save people a tremendous amount of money, and it would create a tremendous amount of security in each and every family. Farm families need that medical care just like anybody else needs it.
Yep.
We're just down to a minute or two here, Mike. So if people want to find out more about Blue Jean Nation and all the issues that you're talking about here, what's the best way for them to connect to you?
Probably on social media. They can find Blue Jean Nation on Facebook. It's also
Substack.
And check out Substack, and they can find me, and a lot of these issues that we're talking about today are discussed at greater length there.
Mm-hmm.
But and then people can go from there to reaching out directly, and emailing me or calling me and getting in touch and seeing what they can do.
Well, there are a lot of new candidates out there. Every Senate district now is being challenged by a Democrat, which is fantastic to see. Do you like their message? Do you like the way they're trying to appeal to the rural voter?
Well, I think there's going to be a learning curve for Democrats, because they stopped thinking about rural America for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a guy who's running for Congress up in the 7th District in the North, and he was talking about the issues that he had in mind for his campaign. They were good issues, but one of the things I said is, you got to talk about things like rural hospitals.
Right.
And you got to talk about things like public libraries and schools, and keeping those institutions open, and that's something that these communities need, and that is right in the wheelhouse of Democrats. That's what they should be talking about. So that's the kind of thing I try to do, is reach out to candidates and say, here are some things that maybe you're not talking about, you could talk about, and I think they'd be good issues for you in rural areas.
Mike McCabe, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Blue Jean Nation, and come back again sometime.
Doing this a long time.
Yeah.
We have
got
so
a lot
many
to
more
talk
things,
about.
issues that we can definitely talk about.
Yeah.
I mentioned a few times on this program, I've seen elementary schools disappear in these small communities, and the communities at that point start disintegrating.
They sure do.
You need the schools, you need the businesses.
Yep. Thanks again, Mike.
Thank you.
Hope to talk to you again soon. That's going to do it for John and Gordy, live from Short Stack Eatery. We'll be back next Wednesday right here, and we'll be back tomorrow morning back in the main studio, just a block from the Capitol, with more of the John and Gordy Show.
That's who we are.
That's who we are, and that's what we do. Have a great day.
All right.
That was excellent.